Yeah, this one goes out to all my Torah brothers and sisters. Are you tired of the shenanigans yet? Are you tired of bouncing here and there? I know what you're thinking. I know what you're feeling. I know what it's like to be in that movement. I get it. I've been there. Like, you have a lot of ideas and thoughts about things, but you're just not certain. Because everybody in the community is constantly coming up with this or that, or this new theology or that theology. You've got some that you think are absolutely right, but then there's other things that you're not sure about. And this information shows this, but then, and it just bounces around. You don't really even know what the true gospel is, because that changes depending on who you follow or watch. This person, this group, these people believe this thing, well, these believe that, and everybody's just like doing their own thing, and there's no continuity. There's always this feeling like nobody really knows the actual solid truth that everybody can absolutely agree on. Does that sound familiar? Again, you may have some stuff that everybody agrees on, like, say, the Trinity, right? Or that we're supposed to keep the commandments, but like the Sabbath times, when the right time to do the Sabbath is, whether, like, how do you do the feast, whether or not you're even supposed to do the feast, lunar calendar, solar calendar, evening Sabbath, dawn Sabbath, middle of the day Sabbath, whole weekend Sabbath. Like, I get it. If you're feeling that, and I know, because, like, here's the deal. Even when I was in the Torah community, it was like I was still following everybody else. I was still following what everybody else was saying, although I could see some stuff myself a little bit, but like it wasn't just based on like the Spirit confirming this is absolutely it. This is absolutely the truth. There are a few things, and that's the evidence that grace is working in you. But the problem here is that the Torah community are still blind because of the feast, because they profane his Sabbath, because they don't preach the actual gospel, the refreshed holy covenant. And then you really don't even read the prophets. That's the other thing. See, that's the difference between the true servants and the Torah movement. The Torah movement, they'll focus on the New Testament and the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. But they don't get into the prophets much. They'll quote some stuff here and there. Some of the people they follow may study out of the prophets a little bit, but the prophets just aren't a big deal. But what do the prophets say, the true servants that have the testimony of Yeshua will actually be doing? Read Isaiah 52, verse 7 and 8. How beautiful are the feet upon the mountains that preach the glad tidings. And then the next verse talks about the watchmen. Will proclaim and see eye to eye. Well, that word mountains there in verse 7, according to Qumran cave documents, translates into prophets. How beautiful upon the prophets how beautiful are the feet upon the prophets. So the feet that are standing on top of the prophets are the ones raised up in the last days that are doing what prophecy says the true servants of Yahweh will be doing. And it's because the servants of the Father have the testimony of Yeshua. And the testimony of Yeshua is prophecy according to Revelation. And it's to know and understand prophecy. How many in the Torah group actually understand prophecy? They'll pick a verse here, there, here, and there to kind of like back up some premise, but they don't understand what the prophecies actually mean. So, if you're tired of being confused, why don't you come to Straight as the Gate, which I'm sure most of y'all have already probably heard of us. Probably not in a real good light, but that's because other prophecy has to be fulfilled against the true servants, right? Evil servants have to raise up. Then other servants will turn into evil servants and smite their fellow servants and talk crap about them and slander them and judge unrighteously because they don't fully rightly divide the word. Here little, there little. They don't add precept upon precept. You know, so like, if you're tired of that, man, first of all, you need to repent from the feast days. That's the first thing you must do if you want to see the truth. Because there are dozens and dozens of verses, very not good, bad prophecies about those who do the feast presumptuously in a land that's profane while in exile, without the right calendar. It's not good for you. Hosea 8, 11 through 13 is one of the main ones. There's all kinds of other prophecies all throughout Isaiah and Ezekiel and Amos, like all the rest of the minor prophets. And then realize that the Sabbath is actually dawn to dawn. That's something else nobody in the Torah community hardly has, is the day dawning. The day dawning is given by revelation of Yeshua Messiah. If you can see that the reckoning of a day starts at dawn, like everything else in creation realizes, except for humans, they seem to just willingly want to be like, make things so much more difficult and opposite. And I mean, research where the reckoning of a day beginning and evening came from. It's Babylonian. Babylon, Nimrod is where the original reckoning of a day beginning and evening started from. And this also just so happens to tie into the lunar calendar. Those who do the Sabbath think it's on a lunar calendar. This is also where that comes from. And then what they're doing, see, this is prophecy of the Torah group. They chase after the wind of Judah. That's the voice of Judah. And see, the Jews picked up the Babylonian traditions of evening Sabbath while they were in captivity. And so the Torah group is chasing after the wind of Judah. It's prophecy. It's in there. Go look it up. So there's a lot of y'all that could be servants. The 11th hour harvest workers raised up in the last days, like at the very end. Unjust steward parable. Luke 13 is about y'all. So the Christian church gets told, depart from me, I never knew you. And the Torah group gets told, depart from me, I never knew you. Two separate groups. Too far left, too far right. Because y'all are just like the apostate Christian church, just in a different form. That's the sad thing about this. You come out of the Christian church having a chance to redeem yourselves, and then you turn right back into them again in a different way. It's covetousness of your heart. You want to save yourself. You're more worried about yourself than God's kingdom, His people. Because you're not out there teaching. You're out there teaching people about flat earth and the pineal gland and frequencies and like all the depths of Satan that, in fact, John even said, I won't put any other burden on you if you don't even know the depths of Satan, because that is a burden. It's a stumbling block to people. Like you're supposed to preach the refreshed covenant. This is Isaiah 28. In times of refreshing, yet they will not hear. Like, why isn't the Torah group preaching returning to the covenant? Instead, they think you still have to follow the sacrificial law. Like, that's what we're supposed to be preaching? It's not. It's not, man. So, if you have this inclining, this pulling, something's not right. Go to prayer. Repent from the feast. Find out the truth.